It is fair to say that what we saw happen in Venezuela is uncharted territory. But where Barbados becomes affected is on a number of areas, and we would have said this previously, which is why we continue to assert that small states really can only survive in an international rules-based order. Three major areas in the region, Eastern and Southern Caribbean, and then one in Puerto Rico, four altogether in the Caribbean, that effectively manage the upper flight space. But as you would appreciate, Barbados is probably the biggest hub closest to Venezuela in terms of tourism, and therefore in terms of air flights and in terms of hotel accommodation and cruise accommodation, we would inevitably be affected.
With hearing terms such as a reboot of the Monroe Doctrine coming back to play with this attack on Venezuela, what is Barbados' position on the actual event itself?
Let me be very clear, Colville. Venezuela is our friend. The United States of America is our friend. By the same token, the Caribbean community has been the entity that we have chosen as a matter of first principles to align our foreign policy with. When the heads of government met this morning, all of the persons were not there because it was an emergency early meeting. We took a decision that we will wait for other information to become present. And when that happens, we will certainly act collectively, and I do not want in any way to prejudice the integrity of that consultative process with CARICOM. Having said that, I've been very clear that our principles are very, very clear, and that small states, and by small I don't only mean as small as Barbados, but much larger than Barbados, but still considered small. Small states can only survive in an international rules-based order. We are not naive, and we understand that where large powers contend, large powers very often will want to show testicular fortitude, and that testicular fortitude may have negative impact and implications for small countries such as ours. We are at a peculiarly dangerous moment in the world's affairs. You know, in 2018, when I first addressed the United Nations, I said then that this world looks too much like it did 100 years ago. Regrettably, I have come to rue the day that I made that comment. And we have gone from crisis to crisis to crisis, from pandemic to cost of living crisis to supply disruption crises to the question of the geopolitical disruptions that we're seeing now.